Good morning. It's Sunday, August 27th, 2025, and we're going to take a use it or lose it approach today. This is going to be a lighter, shorter video because I have a very busy week coming up. Oftentimes, in our image collections, there are a bunch of images that are just weird, like collage fodder when you buy a paper pack, usually from one of those big discount warehouse type stores that, you know, their idea of what collage fodder is not always great, and you'll find like 50s graphic novel type images in a collage next to, I don't know, UPC codes, barcodes. I have some, and you'll see them. Let's either use those or finally throw them away because they don't make sense. There are other times where we buy a paper pack or an image collection and it's not our style, or our style has evolved. Before we throw away our hard-earned money, let's see if we can salvage it. You'll see that I have limited myself to very simple tools and supplies. I have a master print that I oversprayed with some blue ink and got a big blob. So we'll cover that collage masterboard style for anything we don't know what to do with. I have some uh, packing paper. We can make a cluster. And I have some simple shapes to use as frames in the form of stamps. I have one digital print that I made that is meant for writing space, and it says time, and then it says memories or something like that. I have a piece of tissue paper where I just stamped frames. You've already seen a few examples, and so I propose we turn the camera on and see what happens. We start out with a little glue surgery because on this channel, why wouldn't we? And for once, I did my glue surgery at the very beginning. I didn't forget that it would be a good idea to make sure that the glue was unclogged. Moving along, I've chosen some of our overprinted strips from our overprinting episode just as border pieces and random dividers. I have no plan whatsoever for this masterboard page other than to just sort of pull some things together that when the viewer sees it might make sense. And the truth is that most of what I showed you just previously in terms of bad um, prints from one of these online discount stores, I actually edited them out and or cut them up. And the ones that I left whole, it occurred to me I can just use them as cut down pieces for small features. I can stamp on them, I can put a different image on them and make them a little more sturdy. I can do different things than just throw them away. But truth be told, I threw a lot of this stuff away. Did I pay fractions of a penny for this stuff? Yes. But I still paid for it, and I was never happy with it. It sat around for 2 or 3 years. I've not used a lot of it, and when I went through my ephemera to pull out everything that I knew I didn't like and wasn't going to use, most of it was stuff I didn't like and wasn't going to use. So you see me sort of building from left to right here, and I'm just going to clue you in that in the end, what I do is kind of use that red leaf pattern overprinted strip as a divider. One side of this I make relatively busy, and the other side I kind of leave the center blank so that down the line I can cut this in half. Well, I can fold it over and use it as a signature page, or I can cut it in half and use only the right half as like a focal point or part of another print. If you're new here, I'm glad to have you. And what you might not know about me, if this is one of the first videos you've ever seen me do, is that I almost never use a master board as a master board. I always make a print of it, and sometimes I use different techniques and make several prints. Like I might make a black and white. I almost always make a black and white so I can see it in black and white. I also put tissue paper or tracing paper or even a piece of wax paper over the print when I put it on the glass so that it softens and mutes the print and gives that collage business a chance to kind of sit down and not be so noticeable so I can do other things on the top of it when I actually use the print. If you're old here, I'm always glad to see you as you are well aware. And if you have some tips or techniques or um, interesting ways of doing things other than what I do, by all means, drop a comment and let me know how you did a technique a slightly different way or a totally different technique that you think might be interesting to the audience. We're almost at the end of the left side. I'm just adding a couple of pieces that sort of pull this idea together. There's a postcard. There is this candelabra that I'm going to struggle with, as I always do. There's a violin, and there are two women. One is right below the violin, and underneath it is a fancy car. And to the left of the fancy car is a little notice about an opera. And so I took my inspiration from those and kind of built a little imaginary storyline where one of these women is going to the opera and she's kind of plainly dressed, and the other woman is wearing an elegant ball gown, and she's right under my left hand right now. So it's up to you to figure out which one of these women, like Cinderella, got to go to the ball and which one didn't. Or maybe they're the same woman. Who knows? And then we have a mystery man there next to the violin. Did he escort one of these women or both of them? Or are they the same woman? These are the little stories you tell yourself in your head when you're trying to bring different collage pieces together so that the viewer might be able to do the same thing. Make a little story in their head. We're speeding ahead to me putting just a torn border down on the left side of that, or the right side of that right page, and that is just to create a frame that kind of mimics the division between left and right on the whole masterboard so that it would be easier for me to cut it in half and use them as separate pieces or combine them with other pieces. These little stories were kind of inspired by another creator, and forgive me, I cannot remember her name right now. But during Junk Journal January, every page she did for each prompt in the Junk Journal January challenge this year had a central character, or a couple of them had a couple, and a few of them had a child, and she built her prompt pages around a story she made up in her head. And sometimes she asked the audience for help in naming the individuals or things like that. So I've kind of picked up on that in that in order to try and take different images and marry them in a collage, I sometimes tell myself a story. I find there's a distinct difference between trying to put random pieces of collage fodder together by telling myself a story about why they might go together on a page, even if they end up being just a background, versus the library case series that we're working on right now, where we have a preset story in the form of different signatures talk about different things. One signature features the library heavily in that signature. Finding images to go with a preset narrative, I find, is a lot harder and a lot more time consuming. But putting together images in a masterboard collage often stumps me. So there are two different ways of doing things in a junk journal, and they have their benefits and their drawbacks. Here are our two final prints. The one on the left is a color print that I reduced the intensity by 1 on my printer so that everything would kind of merge together a little bit better. On the second print, I put down the wax paper and I put the color standard to normal, and it gave me a little bit of a sepia tone, which I like very much. On this new printer, I don't have a sepia setting. On my old printer, which I miss very much, all I had to do was run through the menu on the screen and I could find an actual sepia setting. I'm happy with these two final prints. One can be used as a background and the other one could actually be used as a signature page. I hope I inspired you to try something different. We'll come back to this page and make something out of it, but today had to be cut short. Thank you for joining me. God bless you. I'll see you real soon.